Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Indra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
And we got through it.
We did it. We
We
did
did it.
For better or worse, we did it.
Grant's Bachelor season came and went, and we had a 3-hour finale to give us all the information we needed. I mean, I actually felt like we almost needed the full 3 hours, but not quite.
We didn't need the middle, like the second hour. Like, I think
we didn't need the panel of past
people who
leads.
said I love you to two people. Like, I don't care.
Also, like, why am I taking advice from Clayton and Gary? Scum.
It's also like, why are we giving Grant advice? He already had to make this decision months ago.
I know. It was so dumb. I did love seeing Charity again.
It was great to see Charity.
It was like, I do love this woman. I'm so glad that her and Dotton are still
They're
going
so
strong.
beautiful. Like,
yeah. And he was there like looking he looked so great.
oh yeah, his glasses were really working for him. Yeah.
I was like, wow, a little bit of a glow up.
Yeah, like every time she's on the screen, like Ethan is very picky about who he thinks is beautiful on the show. Like I'm kind of like everyone on the show is like a 10. He's very picky about it. Every single time Charity comes on the screen, he's just like, I just forget. Like she's so beautiful. He thinks she's prettier than Litia. That's like more his vibe.
Wow.
Neither of them look anything like me, but we can discuss that later, I guess.
You know what? People contain multitudes.
They do. They do. Ethan doesn't look like Joey or Grant, so what am I talking about?
One thing I'll say about Litia, so like I'm always like, one thing that always hits me at these after the final roses is like how different people look coming on stage, and like Litia looks the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just keep thinking about like the Daisy transformation from Joey's season.
The Daisy
like,
glow up was crazy.
It was like, whoa, what is like, how did you have enough time to get this much work done?
And like, who's this like woman? Like Daisy was like a child, and this woman is like showed up on the stage, but Litia looked exactly the same. Grant looked the same, and Juliana pretty much looked the same. Like there wasn't a lot of post-season work.
No, it didn't seem like it.
No, I don't think so.
The biggest change I saw was Zoe's haircut, which is really working for her.
I loved it. I actually DM'd her and I said the bob 8.
Yeah.
Like it looked, I posted our memes like before 11 because I was so tired, and I have a social media app on my phone that like locks me out of social media at 11, and I was like, I'm not pushing it for The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do that, I would have made a whole meme about how good she looked at the finale. She didn't look different. She just looked so good.
She looked great. And like, I don't know, the bob and the red dress, like, I don't know, the whole thing just worked for her. I'm excited that she'll be on the beach.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about this before we get into the rest of it since we're here. Because it's like a little funny to me because like we did have a little bit of like back and forth stuff with Zoe at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Based on some of the posts we put up, which was fine. And like, it's all good now because it's all good.
Yeah.
And, you know, Zoe held herself really well through the season. She got incredibly far.
Yeah.
With not a lot. And I think she's going to be a great addition to the beach. So
I agree.
That's that. But when they announced.
I know where you're going with this now.
The Goldens joining the beach, which I'm like, first of all, I just have to say, I'm still worried about geriatric people on a 100+ degree hot sunny beach.
So my first reaction to Golden on the beach was, I'm so fucking excited. I'm so glad they're doing this.
Yes.
Then as I was going to sleep and unable to sleep last night, a lot of things started to really like make me nervous. And maybe this is why we couldn't sleep last night. Because
maybe we were thinking about Gary and Leslie and the rest of the crew.
Was just thinking about, it's so hot there that people in their 20s, the fittest people in their 20s have gotten heat stroke.
Yes.
There's no air conditioning in the rooms except for in the boom boom room.
Yeah, which is wild to me.
Wild. and there's bugs and crabs biting them all day. I don't think it's a good idea to put people that are 60 plus in that situation.
Maybe they'll get to go stay at that like hotel.
Oh, maybe they'll go to the hotel. You're probably right.
And I mean, it's definitely like they're doing it so that like the older people can give the younger people advice, like all of this. I'm sort of worried it's going to like ruin it a little, but I also understand that like I appreciate that they're just like making it happen, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have all these people on the beach and we'll just see what happens.
We'll just figure it out. Because we were worried that they were going to do like regular Bachelor in Paradise, Golden Bachelor in Paradise, Golden Bachelor, like that we would never see the Bachelorette again. And I feel like having them all on the beach cuts down one season. I am worried, and they have to be very careful about the men that they pick, because there are a couple people from Joan's season that I am worried would be all too happy to jump over to the younger girls. And I don't want to see that.
Like the French guy.
The French guy, Pascal. I don't want to see that.
And I commented on the Bachelor page, like with our Can I Steal a Minute pod page, that was like, are the Goldens going to be dating the 20-year-old? And then someone, like some Karen wrote back like, no, obviously it's going to be because of this, that, and the other. I was like, yeah, duh. We all know that.
Duh.
Like, I'm not an idiot. But like, also
it's not
like
obviously anything.
There's gonna be creepy dudes in their 60s hitting on younger women, like 100%.
I also think, and I can foresee this, and I know Leslie's excited for it, I think that there's going to be some storyline about one of the guys really wants to get to know Leslie, and it's going to be a whole Mrs. Robinson thing with Leslie.
Oh, you think so?
I think it's like maybe like a joke, but I think that they're going to do something like that because they will think it's funny.
That's not funny.
I just am predicting it.
That's a really good prediction, and absolutely, and Leslie would fucking love that. Okay, so Leslie.
Yeah.
In case you haven't been listening for a while, we are officially in a fight with Leslie. Like, and I have no problem saying that very publicly.
No.
Like, Leslie has not been kind to us in our DMs.
No.
And like, this was back when we literally had like 300 followers or less.
It was actually insane. We'd be getting 12 likes on a post and DMs from Leslie being so mean to us.
So mean. Like immediately just coming at us like guns blazing, totally unnecessary. Like one of these moments where that we always say, but it's like, girl, you signed up for a TV show.
Yeah.
Like this was after she was giving Kelsey advice. She was giving Kelsey that terrible advice. And like trying to sabotage like one of the most perfect Bachelor Nation couples we've ever seen.
It was great. It was the way she acted towards Kelsey was like out of a place of paranoia and being like just selfish about her advice that she was giving.
Yeah.
And we called her out on it and we spelled her name wrong. And she was like, it's Leslie, by the way. If you're going to say something like this, at least check your facts. And it's like, I made this meme halfway into an edible sitting on my couch. This show is 3 hours long. This is my 40th meme of the night. I don't get paid for this. I have a full-time job. Leave me alone, Leslie.
Right. Like, Leslie, cool your fucking jets. Like, and I just know, I mean, that's the energy we're going to get. She's going to be the center of a lot of drama on the beach. I'm calling it now.
Like, I was so, as listeners know, Gary of Joan's season is my favorite guy in the world. Yes. I'm so happy he's going to the beach. I just love my Gary. I'm so excited he'll be there. You know, Leslie being like, we're good friends. I'm like, you could never even get a man like that if you fucking tried.
You're only friends because Gary's letting you be friends.
Yeah, you could not handle someone of his depth.
No. So we love Gary. I'm afraid Gary, the Bachelor, Golden Bachelor Gary's going to be there.
He's going.
I despise him.
Here's what I would love.
Really despise him.
Gary and Leslie rekindle on the beach.
Yeah.
Break each other's hearts and we never fucking see them again. Now I'm being a bully. I don't care.
Make it so. No, there's definitely going to be a whole storyline about the one that got away.
Yeah.
And I hope Teresa goes. I mean, why not?
Why not?
If Sandra is not there, I will fucking throw shit. That is all I have to say.
Well, she's dating CK.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come to like visit.
Yeah, give advice and stuff. I think Susan Knowles will go.
Yeah,
I think Kathy will go.
Kathy will definitely be there. That whole little crew.
That whole crew is going to go.
Right.
I mean, there's only going to be like 5 or 6 people from each season, so there's only so much they can really do.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. Just please protect them from heat stroke and give them water and.
Right. There's definitely going to be some people there who like we didn't see very much of, I think, on the seasons. You know, there's always people on Paradise who you've totally forgotten about, but casting puts them in for one reason or another. And often I'm pleasantly surprised with those people.
I think there's going to be a lot of that because it's been a while. And both nights of Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette, like the first night eliminated a lot of people. So there's going to be a lot of people that'll make it.
Right. And like, who did we see in the audience? Who like that's always like kind of a sign of who may be on the beach. Like we saw Parisa.
Yeah.
We saw Susie. Susie's in a relationship with what's his name though,
They broke
right?
up. Justin Glaze. They broke up.
But is Justin dating someone else now?
I don't
I
think
feel like
so.
he's been around the block. No. Okay.
I don't think so. I think Susie will go. Alex was there. I think she'll go. Dina.
Yeah. Dina will definitely
Serafina
go.
was there. I think that they'll go.
Yeah. I want Alex to go and like have an amazing arc and then be the Bachelorette.
Oh, that would be great.
I really like I think Litia could be a good Bachelorette. I'm a little worried about her energy after this episode.
After
the way she talks.
After this episode, I am pro her being the Bachelorette as long as she is willing to date non-Mormon men. I'm not going to do a whole season where they only recruit Mormon men because then the Bachelor's Mormon and then
yeah, no, they can't do that.
But
she's obviously open to being with non-Mormon people, but she's not very open to not having them essentially convert.
I think they have to be Christian.
Well, they have to be Christian, but I think they also need to like kind of follow the same morals and ideals of Mormonism more specifically.
Yeah, I think like the lifestyle stuff, like the no drinking, no caffeine, that
that
would
would
to
probably
do that with her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the like being on boards with having kids ASAP. Okay, so let's get into this episode now that we've gotten all that stuff out of the way. Just what did you think, Mary?
Okay, so if Joey's an A+,
okay,
and Clayton is an F.
like an F-.
What do you give Grant?
Oh, wow. This is a good game. What do I give Grant?
Because my scores for last night and this whole season are very different.
Well, I think it's sort of like they're on two different grading scales because Joey and Clayton were given a lot more as leads than Grant received in terms of time, in terms of publicity. So in some ways it's hard to compare. But in terms of just like how they handled it, maybe Grant is like a C or below.
Yeah, I was going to give him like a B-, but that felt generous because this was bad.
I mean, the things we find out from Litia,
they're bad.
There was some stuff where I was like, okay, that isn't like a surefire thing. You wouldn't have known that. But I think the thing that hit me the hardest, and your meme about this, he said to her mom on that FaceTime call at that dinner, on literally the second day of this whole thing or whatever. This was way early on. That like she seemed to make it. I don't know exactly what he said, but I think he said like she's going to be my wife to her mom.
Yep.
Like that's not okay.
No, and Litia said to him like, it's early. I know what I signed up for.
Right.
I mean, obviously, spoiler alert, Grant does not pick Litia, but
yeah.
It's early. I know what I signed up for. Don't make me promises you can't keep because then like I'm going to fall for you and assume that it's us. And that's what happened. And I think if he told her mom over FaceTime that Litia was the one, I bet he told everybody at Hometowns that she was the one. Yeah. He definitely told her in Fantasy Suite she was the one. And the thing that got me the most was the night before. Right. To say, for her to say, oh my God, we're getting engaged tomorrow. And for him to say, I'm so excited. I love you so much. That is like not right. Because
he said, I know. Like he said, like, yes, we're getting engaged.
Yep.
And like, here's the thing. I know Grant believed that in that moment. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's what he was trying to tell us. It was like, I knew like it was her. But it's like, But clearly you didn't.
You didn't know it was her because you told her that in between panic attacks about not being sure.
Right.
So you have like Juliana on the one hand who like you are not telling that you're sure because you don't know that she's sure. And then as soon as she's sure and she's okay with a more relaxed timeline and she doesn't want kids in 2 years the way that Litia does.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, well, I was, in between. It's like you weren't really stuck until Juliana was sure. And then you were like, oh, if she's going to say yes, I can buy myself a couple more years because Latia's 31 and she wants to have kids in 2 years. And Juliana's 27. And that's like, she wants to explore first. And like, we just want to be engaged before we get married and then have years where we're married before we have kids. And yeah,
I think it was more than just the timeline too. I think it was lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like I think Grant, I mean, he put out a song called Party Girls.
Yeah.
Like he likes to party.
Yeah.
And a man at his age likes to party. Like, and that's okay.
Yeah. And that's okay.
And I think maybe he saw a little bit of that of like, oh, it's not just like I'm potentially going to become a father in 2 to 3 years. I'm also, my partner is like going to be holding me back maybe from this lifestyle that I'm used to living that I enjoy. And Juliana's energy is very much the other side of that.
And I think that's fine. But like,
yeah, it's fine. But how
Litia
are you going to handle that?
Who she was. And she doesn't come across like a party girl. And she comes across very grounded in her faith and her family. And she likes being with her family all the time. And you knew who she was. You just like wanted it to be her for whatever reason. And it just like wasn't her. And so it almost is like, this is so unfair to Juliana because now it just feels like you tried so hard to make it Litia and it wasn't. And so now by default it's Juliana. And that's a really sad place to be.
It is really sad. And it's just, you never quite know how the final rejection is going to go.
Yeah.
And this was one of the hardest ones I've ever watched. Like, it was difficult as a viewer to watch it. Like, because you saw Litia standing her ground and obviously being totally blindsided.
Yeah, he kissed her before he said no.
He said he loved her maybe 10 times in that breakup conversation, which is like, maybe once is okay. Yeah. But like over and over. And he got defensive. Like,
yes.
He got like visibly upset. He had to stop himself from speaking at one point because he didn't want to react in a way that he would have regretted later, I think, which I'm so thankful he did not say whatever he wanted to say in that moment. Like, I'm just thinking how I would be in that situation. And with Tia was like, I want to be clear after some conversation. She's like, I want to be clear that I'm confused. I'm sad. And she pauses and she goes, and I'm mad.
Yeah. With a smile on her face.
And I was like, fuck yes. Like,
yeah.
I do support Litia for the Bachelorette in that this woman knows herself. Like, she knows herself and she is not going to take shit from anyone.
No.
And she really stood her ground and called Grant out. And Grant, his immaturity, I think, was just on display in spades in this finale.
It was really bad and hard to watch him do the classic thing that always bothers us is when the men dump you, they still want you to like them and still think they're a good guy. And it's like,
but tell me I'm a good person, even though I'm like totally breaking your heart after I said all of these affirming things.
Like, I hope you don't think of me differently now.
Yes. He said that like 3 times.
Why is it up to you what she thinks of you now? And also,
and I'm not perfect line.
It's like, shut up. We know no one has to be perfect, but you led this woman along and affirmed her every single step of the way.
Right.
And then still after you broke up with her, asked her to still look at you the same. And when she goes, come on now, I was like,
that was some queen shit right there. That really was.
The face to just go, come on now. I was like, I was stunned
I was stunned, and like she was so, I don't know, we've seen this happen in so many different ways, and I never fault the person who gets dumped for being as mad or like if someone one of these days like slapped the other person, I would understand it.
100%. Ethan always says this about like the "can I walk you out?" It drives him crazy because he's like, just have some fucking balls. Like, no, you can't walk me out. Like, I'm mad at you. Like,
no,
and like gender neutral balls is who he's referring to. Like everybody,
right. Gender neutral balls for sure. It was just like she totally just owned that whole like ending, and she was obviously like hurt in the car. The way she like turned around and looked at him when she was like, Litia was in it.
Yeah.
She was in love. And like, I guess my other question for you is like, I feel like we saw more of these relationships in this last episode than the rest of the season combined.
100%.
Like, I felt like I finally understood the connections between these two couples, like, after it took this long.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the connections between Grant and Juliana and Grant and Litia in the end? Like, what was your impressions of them?
I didn't think he should have gotten engaged at all. Honestly,
Okay.
I think that, and I want to talk about the family. Like, the family was so great. We can have a separate conversation about them. I think that what his parents were both kind of getting it back at in a way is, if you are not ready or she is not ready, just walk away. Like,
right.
You don't have to do this right now. And like, I agree with that. Like, I think that he was way more in love with Litia, but there were all these roadblocks in the way. And I think that he will grow to love Juliana if they get that chance, because this is such a rough start.
Right.
But she is second to me. Like, I think that his emotional connection with Litia was just like so much deeper, and him and Juliana have so much fun together, which is like so great in a relationship, but both of them are missing that other part. Like,
they just don't even know each other.
No, Juliana and Grant's main thing that they have in common is that they were lonely children. Like, that's not enough. Like, and
I do see, like, the thing I noticed with Grant and Juliana, I think the most, or like I'd noticed it before, but it really kind of like hit home this time, was how I do see them having the true capacity to be there for one another.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think they're both givers in the way that each other needs. And so from that standpoint, I do think they're compatible, and like, and it gives me hope that like they actually will, remain together.
They're not making it.
You're like,
they're not making it.
How long do you give them?
3 months.
Really?
She didn't watch last night's episode.
Wait, what?
She said that in an interview because someone asked her how hard was it to watch, and she said, I didn't watch. Grant and I talked about it, and we decided the best thing was for me not to watch.
I think that's right.
But
like, I mean,
is it because she's going into it without, Grant convincing her not to watch is fucked up, because he only knows how like conflicted he was. He bought that ring not knowing who it was for.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And Litia said it right, where she was like, I'm so glad that last week is not part of my love story, because watching that as a woman, and knowing that he was this conflicted, like that's really not great.
Yeah. And I mean, there's no way she doesn't understand that part of the story on some level. And she did like make it a point in the finale when she got on stage, Juliana, to say like, I was just playing with people on social media in terms of being upset and whatever. Like, it's all good. We're like, we're having fun with it. We're moving forward. Everything's like, that felt a little like head in the clouds type of situation. I do think that like the bond between Grant and Litia was just so much more apparent, and like kind of feelings of deep love. But I guess when it comes down to like brass tacks and practicalities, like it wouldn't have worked between them. Like no amount of love in the world would have done that. And it just put you in a difficult position. But you're right. Like, he probably just shouldn't have gotten engaged to anyone.
No, he should have done like, and I know Matt James got shit for this, but like he should have done what Matt James did, where he was like, listen, I really love you. I want to keep seeing where this goes, but I think like
Right.
And I think for Juliana, it also makes sense just given like her hesitancy with her past
Right.
for them both to just take a breather and not get engaged because now this is so tainted. Like it's like Rachel and Brian where
Right.
Rachel then spent the rest of her relationship with Brian trying to convince us that Peter wasn't her top choice and she would have like gone forward with getting engaged to Brian even if proposed.
Yeah.
And here I'm like, it's kind of a similar thing where like Grant realized it wasn't going to work with Litia. And so he was like, well, it's Juliana. It's clear as day. And
yeah. I mean, Grant is definitely like, he's a little bit too in the moment.
Yes. Because he's young. Like, you know, he's immature.
It was just a bunch of immaturity.
Yeah.
Just so much immaturity. Like, and I want to believe that, like, I think Grant has the tools in his tool belt to get to like that more mature place, but it's just a matter of like, is he going to use them?
Yeah.
Because just because you have the capacity doesn't always mean that you're going to take that extra step to like get there.
Yeah.
But I do think he can. So we can all have hope. I don't think that being put in this franchise helps people move forward in their emotional maturity, let's say, but you never know. I do have to just comment, like I almost started laughing when Grant and Litia were on those horses and it started torrentially raining. I was like, is this a fucking Disney movie? Like,
it was so fucking romantic. I was like, this is not right. Like,
this is not right. This is not okay. This is not okay.
And it's like, that's like the tragedy of The Bachelor. It's like we get two stories almost. It's like we get like last year where it's like Kelsey and Joey are so clearly in love. We're so excited to see them get engaged.
Right.
Or the engagement becomes about the breakup of the other couple. And that's what happened with this. And so it's like,
I know. It totally overshadowed the engagement.
The
like
whiplash of it was just so like...
It was actually like when they were on stage with each other, Litia and Grant, I was like, how are they going to turn this ship around
and they
at
didn't.
this point?
They didn't.
I mean, they sort of did. Like, I sort of bought into it a little bit. I have more hope for Juliana and Grant than you do.
I want better
Not
for Juliana,
much more.
honestly. Like, I think...
You want more for her.
Yeah, I just think that this is really not fair to her. That like her engagement is surrounded by, if he really, really told Jesse a name 10 minutes before getting engaged, like that's not great. That's
wild.
Like that's bad.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just hoping, I don't know. I do think that people have the capacity to kind of move through situations like this and really commit themselves to one person in the end.
Yeah.
And I feel like Grant is the type of guy who would do that.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of like, if Juliana, like I can see Juliana just kind of like tamping down the real feeling she's having about all of this in service of like all the other like glitz and glamour going on a little bit. Maybe waking up one day and realizing like, oh, hey, I'm actually still really hurt about all of this. Like her whole vibe on the stage was very superficial to me. And I like Juliana a lot, and I don't think she's a superficial person, but I think she was being pretty superficial in that moment because she had to be.
I totally agree. Like even Jesse's up there being like putting on like the goofy guy voice where he's like, oh, it must be kind of tough. Like it really was close. And then he shows like Jesse. The pictures of Grant at Women Tell All last week. And
yeah.
And he's like, oh, what do you think happened here, Grant? Like, do you have a great poker face or is this not happy? And instead of Grant answering, Juliana was like, we are not listening to outside noise. The only thing that matters is what's going on between me and Grant. And like, we were playing into it and having fun. It's like, no, you weren't. Like,
Grant was so weird.
Grant saw a preview of how conflicted he actually looked.
Right.
And is panicking and probably that night talked you out of watching the finale. And like, I think everyone should have all the information before. It's kind of like how you thought last week, like Litia should know if he slept with somebody.
Right.
Like Juliana should know how conflicted her fiance was. And woman to woman, like Litia should have told her maybe in the DMs that like he told me it was me the night before you got engaged.
Right. And I understand why someone like Litia would not do that.
Of course. I get it. I don't know if I would.
She kind of washed her hands of it. Like, it was sort of badass how she was like, Juliana is an incredible woman and she's my friend. And if I were her, I would have some questions.
Yeah.
She just like said it all. Like,
He didn't try to deny
especially
anything.
for someone who was absolutely blindsided. The way she like was able to formulate all of those thoughts just on the go, right there in that moment in such a measured way is like, I give so much kudos to that woman. I could not do that. I would have been a mess. I would have probably been yelling.
I would have been screaming through tears. It would have been, as hard as that was to watch Litia, it would have been impossible to watch me grapple with that on TV. I would have been screaming, crying, throwing up.
Oh my God. Like literally having like a panic attack. Like
full blown. If my dress was that tight, I tried to walk with those shoes for like 20 minutes down to my to see my fiance. He lets me get through an entire speech, kisses me multiple times, and then dumps me. Like,
yeah. It was just, I feel like Grant just like cannot let people down.
No.
I think that's part of this too, is like he lives in the moment too much and he really can't, like, it breaks his heart to break other people's hearts.
Yeah.
But like, and I see that and I feel that because I feel like I can be like that to a fault sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've really had to take a look at myself in a lot of situations and be like, is that actually serving everyone the way you think it is? Or is it just a way to like make the current situation easier?
Yeah. Which
for Grant, like he's just trying to make everyone happy and he ended up fucking everything up.
Yeah. And like, to be fair to him, like maybe if he had more time, he would have had, an extra week to work through it and kind of walk things back with Litia a little bit after he had that realization. But
I'm going to give him a C+.
Yeah. Yeah. On
C
a curve.
C+, B-.
Yeah, he's graded on a curve because he had less time. I just think he got wrapped up in how beautiful and bubbly and shiny Litia is and was like, I cannot believe a girl like this wants me.
Yeah.
And overcommitted. And then,
way overcommitted.
And like, Juliana is such a special person. She does not deserve to be played like second fiddle. And that's the way that it's coming across. And that's upsetting to me.
They're doing a ton of press right now to try and convince us all how in love they are. And maybe that's part of why I'm feeling like they're going to be okay, because I sort of believe it. Like, the other thing is, like, I think Grant is someone who's good at telling himself a story and then believing it, that story.
Yeah.
And, like, I wish I could be that person.
No, you don't.
How easy life would be if I could just tell myself a story and believe it. But like, I really think Grant is like that. And I think he's like, no, but like for me to be a good man, I have to have chosen the right person for me. And we are in love and we're going to get married and this is going to work. Mm-hmm. And so like, I mean, I saw one clip of an interview with him and Juliana, and it was just like, we're still getting to know each other and we're just falling in love with each other every day. It's like these tropes, these things that we just hear over and over again. But like he says them, they're like mantras. I've said this before. He says them over and over again so that they become reality.
Yeah.
And so I think like that could contribute to them maybe lasting longer than we think they will.
Yeah, it may be out of like this, like, wolf pack, us against the world baby kind of vibe. I think that they could be one of those couples. But I mean, we'll see. I'm like open to it working out. I just like feel like my heart goes out to Juliana. And if I were her, I would feel really, really shortchanged. And he would have to answer a lot of questions and step the fuck up in terms of making me feel like special and
he is moving to Boston.
Well, I don't think that that's unrelated to you owe me one, buddy.
Right.
Yeah. You put me through this. I'm going to be near my family while we navigate this. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And like Grant is clearly willing to make a huge life change in that way for her. Like, so maybe he can go the distance.
Yeah.
I feel like that capacity is there. Really what it will boil down to is like, once these two really know each other, is it gonna work?
Yeah. And if she sees the finale,
like
I give it 3 months of her like being in this like newlywed buzz before she watches it, and then I hate to be pessimistic. You know me. I love crying at these proposals. I love believing it. I just was like last night, so I was like sick to my stomach watching them get engaged because I just could see how excited she was. And like Hannah Ann says, you don't get your first engagement back, and I just feel like that's sad to me.
Watching their engagement, I had like zero feelings in my body. I was just like, this is all for show. Like, what I need to see is them afterwards. And then even that felt like it was all for show. Yeah. So I think this story is definitely not over. No. Like, we will be hearing more about it. And, I want what's best for everyone.
Me too.
If they do end up making it against all odds, like, that's great. Like, speaking of another couple that I truly just never thought would make it a month past their season is Zach and Katie.
Yeah.
And they just set their wedding date.
Yeah.
Truly in love.
And like Ari and Lauren, I thought was going to fizzle out.
Totally.
So people have overcome worse things. So
yes.
We'll see. I want to give like a special shout out to Grant's family.
Yes.
Because his parents had not been in the same room in 10 years, and they were lovely and cordial to each other and just like fully all there to support their son. And like, that is such an amazing example of a different family dynamic that is just as unified and just as supportive. And like, I think that all those conversations he had with his dad, like that was the most important part of the episode. Like the only time I did cry in this episode was when Grant and his dad were talking, and his dad said, like, I missed a lot of stuff. Oh my God, I'm going to cry again. But I'm here now. Till God takes me, I'm here. Like that is like so sweet.
And like, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because we all remember what happened with like the story with Matt's dad. Mm-hmm. And it was just, the whole thing was hard to watch and unfortunate. It just like,
it exploited
it was
like
bad.
An estranged parent, as opposed to here it was like an estranged parent has come home and like is welcomed home.
Yes. And like just the true like connection between him and Grant in that moment. And like, I don't know, it's just like the good in people just like kind of shone through in those moments. And that was really, you're right. That was like the most important part of the episode, really. It was a finale.
Yeah,
like,
it was
pretty captivating.
Yeah, it was something.
I was enthralled, and I guess we'll see what happens from here. Looking forward to Bachelor in Paradise. I mean, they're probably off to the shores of that beach within a month, I would think.
We'll see who drops off of social media. And that'll be something for us to keep an eye on, as we have no content in a couple of weeks to just recap and keep an eye on who's gone. Right.
Yes, so just talking ahead schedule-wise, we're about to talk through, we got through 3 more episodes of Temptation Island. And it's a 10-episode season, so I think our plan is to next week finish recapping the season, because I think most people who are going to watch the show have now gotten through it. We've been surprised at the level of engagement with the memes.
Yeah, I honestly
it seems like people are watching the show, so we'll go there. And then after that, I don't know of any shows that are coming up that are at least ones that we're already watching. So we'll see if something pops up. But if not, we'll do some we're thinking of doing some kind of newsy update episodes. So maybe one on Bachelor Nation, like the big stories that are happening there. If you have requests about people or things you're wondering about, please do let us know.
Please let us know.
We'll do it for Love is Blind, Love Island, whatever we need to get through until something else comes
until
out.
Something pops back up.
Right. It's been a very busy season. Like, this happened last year too. Just like all the shows hit at once.
Yeah, and then we were left with nothing.
Yeah. But then we were given the gift of Love Undercover.
I know. I'm hoping that something like that is coming, because Peacock has a gap in their schedule as well. So give us something.
I don't know. So anyway, let's talk about Temptation Island.
Ugh.
Okay, talk about like immature Grants.
These men.
Grant, though. Grant.
Grant is horrible.
Scum.
Has continued to be horrible on social media. Like,
I have been ignoring it because I don't want spoilers, but I'm pretty sure I know where that relationship is headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could talk about Grant's live next week because I didn't watch the full thing. I just caught clips.
Oh, he did a live?
He did like an hour-long live, tearing into the show, tearing into Ashley.
No.
Outlining all the reasons why he treated her that way. I didn't watch the whole thing because I find him to be repulsive to look at because he is such a bad man. Like,
he's a bad person.
We'll just start with Grant and Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go there because, okay, so for those of you who may be further than we are, we're covering episodes 3 through 5. So this is a point at which he basically fully is like, I'm into Natalie. He kisses her and then proceeds to have sex with her in the shower.
Yep. And
like, this is day 4.
Day 4.
Yeah.
And then, in what the boys will call a moment of post-nut clarity, realizes maybe I shouldn't have had sex with someone on day 4. And I'm going to be reflective about it. And then he goes to the bonfire and he sees a clip of Ashley talking about how he's a piece of shit and she shouldn't be with a piece of shit. And he goes, I can't believe she can't get over my past actions. Like,
oh my God.
So I cheated on their past. I'm like, you cheated on her yesterday. Like,
right.
And you have the audacity to be mad at her for thinking you're a bad person. She doesn't even know about this.
Literally. Like, him sitting on that hammock with his guitar writing that terrible song about how he shouldn't have done it.
And Ashley thinks it's Natalie thinks it's a love song for her when she comes outside.
Oh my God. The whole situation is just like, Grant, are you? And you know what's worse is like he has a child.
He has a child. He has a daughter.
He has a daughter who is probably going to see this. Like, I don't know, maybe not now, but maybe in like 10 years. I don't know how old she is, but apparently this is like exactly what happened with his ex. I don't know if they were married or if
they were
engaged. Yeah, like he clearly has a problem with this. Like, Ashley is absolutely right. Like, he has cheated on her multiple times. Like, he's cheated on her in the times that she knows about, and then probably many more times than that. Like, this is not a man who's not used to doing what he did.
No, and Natalie, it's like, what are you doing? Because why are we thinking that he's going to treat you any differently? Like, it's not a compliment to you that he is cheating on his girlfriend with you. And, you know,
like,
do whatever you want. But when she's like upset with him for like playing a game with her, I'm like, why did you think he would do anything different?
Right. Like, your role here is to get him to do what he did with you.
Yeah.
It's the joke's a little bit on you if you think that he's now like this is going to work out in some like magical way.
She's like I can't
You're literally a rebound.
He's like, I can't believe he used me to, you know, he was trying to make me jealous with that other girl. It's like,
oh my God.
How are you upset about that when like he literally has a full girlfriend in the other villa that he's cheating on with you? And how are you going to get upset that he's trying to make you jealous with another girl? He's an asshole. Like,
I mean, this is where the two Grants are the same. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
100% situation, you know? It's just like, it's like they're acting like Ashley doesn't even exist.
No, and then he gets reminded she exists and he has to come up with some reason why it's actually okay that he did what he did. And it's like,
oh my God. It's so like, I really hope Ashley does genuinely connect with someone else or at least like fucks another guy or just I want her to have fun over there. Like, I just want her. I know it's not fun, but like, I mean, she fully saw him having sex with another girl in the shower.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine that?
No.
Like, because that's like so beyond, like, that's not even just finding out the information. It's like you literally see it happen.
Yep. She saw it and she knows how many days it's been. Like,
Oh my God. She knows. And she was not, she wasn't even surprised.
no.
Which is like how you know, okay, like, and she's been saying, I need to respect myself more. I don't even know why I'm with this guy. And it's like, okay, now you know.
Yep.
Now we're here. Do what you want.
They briefly got back together after the show.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
That is.
They're broken up now, but like, Ashley, let me be your big sister and not hold your hand when I say this. What the fuck are you doing? Like, come on.
It's
This guy.
that's really hard to hear. Like, I can't even really comment on it. I think it's just like clear why that's really upsetting.
And like, this guy's not even smart enough to pull off like some crazy emotional manipulation. Like,
No.
he's just doing it.
He's just doing it and being an asshole and knowing that you'll take him back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about that for Ashley because clearly, you know, that comes from something that's like hurting her, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, but they're not together now.
They're not together now. They're shading each other on social media. It
Thank
is what
God.
it is. But yeah, I just want like, I want Mark to like physically shake her at the bonfire, but she never acquiesces at the bonfire. She's just very accepting of what's happening to her.
Right.
Like there's, you know, this twist that like there's a tent, the budget
Oh
on
my
the
God.
show.
Temptation Haven.
Temptation Haven is a tent in the
which
backyard
is literally a
of the house. And then it's hooked up, aka producer just flashes red light and noise in the other house if someone has gone into the Temptation Haven.
Okay, but Mary.
Yeah.
I thought the light was going to be like a light on the wall. In
Yes.
The kitchen
And someone would
that
be like, oh, it
turned,
went off
like,
last night.
Red. And then, you know, someone notices it and tells everyone else. I did not know.
It'd be like a nuclear fallout alarm.
Yeah, like literally every light in that fucking villa would start flashing.
Well, and this was smart because I was thinking like, if someone goes in at 3 a.m. and everyone's asleep, they might get away with it. This was like
Right.
smart because like someone is gonna
Someone's
see it.
gonna wake up.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, they'll find out the next day that it went off.
Yeah.
And which it happened.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, the women are like, it has been 4 hours since we got back from the bonfire, and already 2 of these men have gone into the
2 of them. This is like where Tyler is also like such so like Sandoval because he's
so
like
much.
You know, he goes in there a half hour after he gets back. He kisses Kay. He says his relationship is over on the clip. Taylor says he has bitch tendencies. And he's like, what? She talks about me like this?
And the other guys are like, bro,
You don't
didn't
deserve that, bro.
that.
You don't deserve that, bro. It's like, yeah, he does. He lets this woman pay for his entire life.
Right.
He literally said,
we need to make a meme that says bitch tendencies about Tyler. Like, because it's just such a good descriptor of him.
So perfect.
It's so perfect.
It just is who he is. And like, he keeps showing it like in his reaction to bitch tendencies. Like he was being a little bitch. Like
he was being a little bitch.
He was being a little
Fuck that
bitch.
guy.
Like he is so annoying. He jumped in the tent the first second he could. And then the light goes off in the other house. And he's like, oh, one of them went in there.
I know.
I
know. We end where Mary and I ended is like the guys having a conniption because the red light has gone off after they have been literally everyone but Lino has behaved in the most disgusting way.
Yeah.
Like Brian. Okay. Is there more to say about Tyler?
No. Have fun with Kay, whatever.
Tyler and Kay like are kind of made for each other.
Oh, he said it's hard to think about Tay because she feels so far away. You've been apart for 3 days and she's down the street.
Yeah, like literally, and you're seeing videos of her. Like,
yes.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with these people? Okay. Brian, I was like holding out hope. I'm like,
I know.
This man can get through it. It's going to be okay. He's going to behave himself.
He's going to realize there's more to relationships than sex.
The way it took literally nothing.
Nothing.
For the girls were in his bathroom and you could just see him. Like,
Yep.
he stands in the doorway for like 15 seconds and makes the decision to go in and have a full threesome with
Yep.
these women in the shower.
Yep.
I had the subtitles on.
Me too. Water slapping.
It was like rhythmic slapping.
It was like rhythmic water wet slapping or something. It was so funny.
It was so funny, and I was horrified just because like there was something like diabolical. It wasn't like during the threesome. It was afterwards.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, he had no remorse.
He said, I feel like I'm still respecting Shantae in this process.
Oh my God. And then he goes and approaches the other two girls that he's like, it's like an addict who's just gone off the wagon. And now it's like, got to get the next one.
He goes, I didn't think I would wake up with any remorse. I don't. Only thing I'm thinking about is how to get Angel, and her name also starts with an A.
Alex?
Ali?
No. I know. Yeah. Angel and another woman.
Another woman in to have a threesome with me.
And he goes and approaches one of them
Yep.
about it. Like, no big deal. No, I didn't just fuck two other women. No, my literal girlfriend who is not down with this behavior is down the street.
How in what world, like, does he think that he still respected Shantae? I'm like, I don't understand that. That's a sentence. I'm not assuming he thinks he respected her. He said, I'm still respecting Shantae. You guys had a no touching rule. And you fucked two women in the shower.
And like, there's so many things that he violated. And I'm just like, I think I was almost a little scared at how just completely flat he was afterwards.
It was
like,
weird.
it was like, this was inevitably going to happen. Everything's good. No one has been disrespected. How can I have another threesome in this villa?
It's like,
it's maniacal.
it's like a serial killer, but with threesomes. Like, it's
right.
like planning it out.
It is. Like, and it's like, I guess that's one thing I'll give Grant is like, he did have a moment of remorse. Like, he had like one moment of remorse when he was writing that bad, terrible song of the guitar. Like, none of that with Brian.
None. If Shantae is with this man, you need an intervention.
I have been like ignoring stuff when I see it. Like, the minute I see Temptation Island content come up on Instagram, I immediately like click away.
Yeah.
But like, I have seen enough photos of them together that I'm like, oh my God.
Oh no.
I mean, I really hope that I'm just seeing old photos or things that are not current. But like, it's just, they're so mismatched when it comes to this very important aspect of being in a romantic sexual relationship with someone.
Yeah. That
it is just not going to work. And like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, he goes to that massage with Angel, and Angel is just like, in her ITM, she's like, dude, this man is all over the place.
Yep.
He says one thing and then he immediately contradicts himself. Like, I am not here for it. Like, I don't think the threesome with Angel is going to work
No,
out.
I think that she's not. She's like, because you sound dumb. Like,
you sound dumb.
Like, he's like, you know, the woman I end up with has to be a good Christian woman. It's like, so she has to be like a saint, and you get to have threesomes.
Yeah. Like, what? It does not add up. Like, you cannot have your cake and eat it too.
No.
And like, Brian, I'm just going to tell you right now that your sexual desires clearly trump every other thing that's important to you in your life. So you're going to need to figure some shit out before you enter into relationship, like actual serious relationship, whether it's like polyamorous or not. Like, he like needs to be in a polyamorous community, clearly.
Yeah, I feel like he has like you said before, he has an addiction that he's like not really addressing. Like, I've not seen even the people on Too Hot to Handle talk about sex less than he does, and they act on it less than he does. Like, you know that you're being filmed. and
Yeah.
you know that you have a mic on and you still can't stop yourself from having a threesome. And then you're sitting in an interview and saying you can't wait for the next one. It's like there's something not like connecting.
Yeah, it's just that is the priority.
Yeah.
Over everything else, which often is what happens with addicts of all kinds.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that they're addicted to is the priority.
Yeah.
And for him, it's just like that's what it is. And it's just like that's until he either needs to like find a way to have that be the priority and just, maybe it is in a polyamorous community, although I doubt it because, I mean, even in polyamorous communities, there are ground rules that are set between the community members and
those
I don't even know if
relationships
he could do that.
No, and they're like built on more than sex, and he doesn't seem like he can.
No.
He can do that. Like the way that he talks about his relationships, he's like relying on the woman to make him like thoughtful.
Right.
And holding him accountable. And it's like, that's just so not a fun job to have as a girlfriend. It's like being your morality police.
But I feel like Shantae, unfortunately, kind of likes being that for him. And I think that's why this dynamic has come up between them. Is the only way I could see this somehow working. I mean, I if I saw that, like, game over.
Oh, done. I would never, ever forgive him. Like,
No.
But then again, I wouldn't go on the show. So it's so hard to, like, judge our, like... so hard to judge our like threshold for dealing with bullshit because we would never agree to go on the show. Because that brings me to Lino.
Okay.
Lino is not getting tempted because he's a good man. He cannot get a girl. He literally is sitting at the table and they're about to take a shot and he turns to Alex and he says, "If I take it, will you give me a kiss?" And she goes, "No."
Oh, it's kind of sad.
It's sad. He can't even like, and like, I feel like him and Alexa are together, and like, he can't cheat on you, and that's why he's not cheating on you.
Yeah, I do think there's an element of that. Yeah, some of the things that he's said, like when he's like, "I'm just like not used to not being like chosen."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't like that. Like, can you not talk about the situation in those terms?
I know.
Like, don't make it about that. Like, there's some deep insecurity going on there that's like beyond just what he feels with Alexa. Like, it's not just her fault.
No.
And he is blaming it all on her, and she's right. Like, if it goes on forever, it's not gonna work.
No. And Mark saying guilt is self-imposed. I was like, Mark,
hey,
write a poem.
Yeah. There was a moment where when Taylor like broke down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was sad actually, and I really felt for her when she was just like, everyone in my life leaves me.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I expected this. I knew he was going to leave me and he's leaving me. And like Mark didn't have anything to say. He just sat there and was like, oh my God.
No, it was like, and he kind of was like, that's the story that you're like, you tell yourself and it writes itself. But like, that was regally sad. And
really,
she is right. Like, it is happening that like as soon as this guy was away from her, he strayed. He's like a serial monogamist. Like, I don't think he knows how to be by himself. And so she just can't blame herself for being with someone like that.
No, she absolutely can't. And I think what broke my heart about that was not Tyler. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I was like, who else in your life has been letting you down?
Sounds like family.
Yeah, like family, like friends. Like,
yeah.
It sounds like she has a hard time having people that she feels safe around.
Yeah, she sounds lonely.
And trusts that they'll be there for her. Like, that was just like hard to watch on just like a person to person level. And I think she's way better off without Tyler in her life.
100%. Like, and she confided in a good person. Like, I think out of the guys, Mr. Yemen is like a really solid dude. Like, he's
so funny.
He's so funny. He's so handsome.
He's so tall.
Yemen should be the Bachelor, maybe.
Oh my God, Yemen would be an excellent Bachelor. He has it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
He like yeah, it looks like they're going to go on some dates from the previews. So we'll see what happens. I definitely get like a friend vibe
100%.
between them. But I think even if it's just that, having someone who's like really listening to her, like I think he is.
Yeah.
I think that that's really valuable too. And a lot of these guys are being really respectful. And I'm so appreciative of at least them not being total
I
jerks.
agree. I saw like one guy Instagram that was like, when you show up at Temptation Island and there's nothing to tempt, and it's like just them like partying. Like the boys, I feel like just had so much fun, like
Yeah, just hanging
out with the boys, because the girls were like not really there to be tempted physically. Like
No.
they were just there for companionship, and so that was nice.
It was nice. And I mean, I appreciate that. And like everyone's being their true selves.
Yeah.
And including these men being fucking trash.
Yeah, just
Trash.
it's astonishing that we can keep finding people to keep these shows alive. Like this is like, and I wrote this as my caption. I'm like half kidding, because the men of Love Is Blind season 8 are like terrible in different ways, but like
Right.
this is like bottom of the barrel dudes. Like this is like, I'm upset for like my children who will enter the dating world. Like, and I don't have children.
Yeah.
But if this is the way it's going, again,
it's not looking good.
I feel like my mom. I'm like, back in my day, men used to take you on a date. Like I'm so upset that
I mean, this is why you hear all these statistics about women just being like, I don't want to date anymore.
No, I'm done.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah. I unfortunately am heterosexual, so I'm just going to be by myself. Like,
Right. I'm in my 20s and I'm done dating. Like, it's like crazy stuff like that.
I can't blame them. Like talking to my friends about dating, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
it is horror out there. Like, they'll have the best time,
Right.
and a guy will just like forget to text them for a week.
Oh my God.
And it's like, that's just like little stuff about being inconsiderate that
Yeah.
is just a bummer.
You know, I've never been on the apps, so I shouldn't be speaking on this.
I was briefly
But
on them.
from just talking to people who have, and like in a world where like men already had too many options, I think that dating apps are just exacerbating that problem.
100%.
Yeah.
And
like it's too easy for them to just get another date.
Exactly. Like I'll talk to my husband has a few single friends who are like such great guys, such catches.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you single? And it's like, it comes down to they have too many options, and the girls that they're dating have too many options. And so nobody is like carving out time to actually get to know each other. And like,
Right.
if they have like a little fight, it's done. You know,
Right.
there's no
working through it
Right.
or like going through the hard stuff. Like the reality is like there are over 8 billion people on this planet. Like, I don't know, whatever. Do you believe in like one soulmate?
yes and no. Like I do think that I'm in a situation where I'm with somebody that's as close as it would possibly get for me.
Right.
But like, if I were to die or he were to die, I both believe that we would find people that we could be happy with besides each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, I just feel like there are lots of people probably in this world where you could have a long-lasting and fulfilling relationship with them. And like, whether or not they're your soulmate or whatever that even means, you know, it's like you have to have the opportunity though to like experience that with someone. And unfortunately, it doesn't involve all good things.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like we didn't like fall in love on our first date. Like I blew him off for a month. And like I was just lucky that like he was living in Houston and so was I. And because if we were like back in New York and he had way more options, he like wouldn't have put up with that bullshit. And like, should I have done that? No, but I was 22. Like I met someone that I really liked. It really scared me. And so I was just like,
I'm going to be like really unreasonable about this.
Yeah, I'm going to be like a major brat. And I'm glad that I did that. And then, but I do think that we had to like find that this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's almost like the whole time we were dating, there was like a thread in the back of my mind that was being tugged. That was like telling me that this is like somebody very special and I should like clear time to develop this.
Yes.
And then, over time, I found that thread was like, oh no, this is the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. And
Right.
I think that like that's a whisper at the beginning, and everyone is kind of just like, there's too many options, and you can't necessarily hear that going on with all the other stuff.
Right. Like, right. If there's like 10 other conversations going on while you're having this one whisper that's actually maybe something that could be longer term, like it's hard to hear it.
Yeah.
You may not hear it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely, it's interesting. I knew like from my first date with Patrick that it was like there was a different quality to the relationship, and that it was not going to be something I could let go of easily.
I was the same. I left, like, I think it was our first or second real date where I left and I was driving home and I was like, oh, either we're together or this breakup's going to suck. Like,
it was like, if
immediate.
This ends, I'm going to be devastated.
It was like right away, it was like, oh, we're together forever or I'm heartbroken.
Right. I do think there is an element of that someone will feel. I don't know. Maybe you and I are just alike in that way.
Yeah, maybe we're just lucky. Yeah.
I'm actually curious to know. Maybe I'll ask this of more people.
Yeah, I want to hear it from people.
Yeah, because I think it's like, I did know.
Yeah.
Like I knew that this was like one of those people in my life that it's like, yep.
You knew it was like a chapter. Like you were like,
oh yeah.
I don't know what this is, but this is like something. And then probably like 4 months in, I was like, oh my God, we're getting married or I'm going to die.
Yep, pretty much. It's kind of, it's interesting when those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to wonder, like, did anyone on any of these couples on Temptation Island have that feeling?
No, I think you and I have had like a more in-depth conversation these last 10 minutes than they're having with their life partners.
Totally wild. Totally wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so
should we do like relationship advice? We like
I
both met
don't
our
think
partners.
Anyone should be taking relationship advice from me.
Oh, me neither. We like both met our partners when we were 22 years old. Like, what can we offer people?
Oh my God. But so we're going to finish Temptation Island for next week. And we'll be memeing about it. Yeah. We'll probably do chunks of memes because there's not enough per episode to
No, I think maybe like 3 episodes.
It's like, I can only make so many memes about how shitty these men are.
If they're getting repetitive already. Like how many times I've called Grant like a fuckhead in so many words. Yeah. It's like, he's going to block us eventually.
I'm totally fine with that. 100% okay with that. I do want to catch up just so I can sort of like see what's going on social media.
Yeah.
Finally. But honestly, like I don't really care that much.
No.
So that's that. And then we'll be on the lookout for new shows. But in the meantime, we'll probably do some of those update episodes. So watch on social media because we'll put up like some stuff in our stories.
Yeah.
Like, things you want us to cover, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you all for listening. Thanks for getting through this season of The Bachelor with us.
We survived, people.
We made it.
We'll see you on the beach.
We'll see you on the beach. All right. Cheers, lovebirds.
Cheers, lovebirds. Yay.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/Can I Steal You for a Minute.